Good. Yep. Good morning, guys. Good morning. It's your last day of bio. You made it to the end of the course. For most of you guys, I think this will be a pretty chill day, so not going to be losing your minds. Let's talk about some options. So first of all, hopefully you noticed I posted not really a mark update, but like we'll call it a assignment completion update on the homepage. Okay, so you can see that it's in the little message on the homepage down here. I call it a mark report, but it's not really a mark report because it's missing a bunch of entries still. The course grade, the current course grade that you see there, that's not your current course grade, obviously. So there's some, because the blanks, all the math is messed up. So, you know, if it says 10% or like, don't freak out or anything. That doesn't actually mean anything at this point. However, what you should be looking for, if you have a look at that, and it's by student number, are these little guys, okay? So those little guys right there mean I don't have that from you. You can't have those, okay? This is true. The course is too short, and there's not enough assessments here for you to have any of those gaps, okay? So if you open this up and you have those, we need to figure out a way for you to not have those. This morning, we are going to be doing our last activity in evolution. Switch over to that. So it's on Explore Learning. It is a, they call it a case study. It's a little bit different than the regular labs in that this one is going to give you something like similar to a real life situation. You work for the CDC and you're going to do some analysis on some bacteria and then use your knowledge of evolution to solve a particular problem. Okay, it's going to ask you some questions as you go along. Okay, and this is a good roundup because it really covers pretty much all of the topics with regards to natural selection, selective pressures, everything that you've been looking at for the last little bit. And it's a great review before you do the quiz. So I highly recommend this. If you are, there's nothing new in it. So I'll say that. There's nothing new in it. This is a review activity. So if you have a lot, like you're looking at this mark summary and you're like, oh my goodness, I owe 2 things, big things that I have to finish still. I would skip this. You should probably skip it at this point, guys. I would really like you to get this credit, and if you're missing 2 major assignments, you're going to be stuck at the end. So work on that first, okay? That's probably the most important thing for you instead of doing this activity. If you're done everything, or maybe you only have one small thing you got to hand in, like a vocab list or something, not a big deal. Do this activity. It's a great review of the evolutionary terminology from the unit. Okay? That's block 1. It takes about an hour and a half or something like that to finish. So as long as you're kind of going at a good pace. So it takes up probably most of block 1. In block 2, you kind of have some choices, okay? If you are done everything, you really are done everything. You've looked at the list, you've handed in all the assignments, you've done all the quizzes, you can complete this evolution assignment. I'm going to go through it with you in a second here. And some people probably will choose to do that. If you're looking back over your mark summary, you're looking at your quiz marks, you're like, oh, I bombed this quiz, I bombed this quiz. You're like, oh, I'd really like to get not a 55. You know, consider it's an option for you, okay? But there is a hard deadline at midnight today. So you do have to do it today. That's the downside of that, okay? But it's open to you. And like I said, we'll go through it in a second. The other 2 things that you need to make sure that you do today, and you can use your learning block 2 time for this if you want, okay? It's totally up to you. Again, it's an optional assignment, but you've got to finish the evolution unit quiz. I think it's only 20 questions. This one's shorter. Okay, it's open book just like the other ones. I have to double check the time limit on there. I think I made it reasonable. 70 minutes. Actually, we looked at it yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, 70 minutes. That's totally reasonable. So that would mean that it's probably 30 questions then. 30 questions and 70 minutes because I usually give about 2 and a bit minutes per question. And your evolutionary terminology vocabulary list. So you probably are done that already, I would assume, if you've been adding to it as we've been going through. Please don't forget to turn that in, okay? So those 2 things have to be completed today, your vocab list and the quiz. This is optional. So I'll go through the assignment real quick here. Please don't do the assignment though if you owe me anything else, okay? Prioritize. This is a bonus assignment. Don't do it if you owe me some of the other major assignment from the semester that is not optional, because you need those things, okay? All right, let me go through real quick. I will send emails today too. Oh, hi.
Is this what happens if you don't do your homework?
Yeah, in order. You progressively devolve.
Yes. Kind of like the
to Homo habilis.
Lego man progression.
Oh, thank you.
Do that so you don't stick yourself.
Thanks. Okay, so this is just like the other presentation assignments. It's a 5 to 7 minute presentation, okay, that you're going to do on, in this case, oh boy, now I'm having trouble with words. Not natural selection, the other one. Breeding? Artificial selection. Thank you. Artificial selection. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about the process of natural selection, right? Like how nature, the environment, is just choosing traits based on what is allowing things to survive and reproduce, right? We also have the converse of that. We've got, what if humans do that? We talk a little bit about this, just a little bit, about what if we just take some dogs and say, okay, I like this shaggy dog. Let's find another one that's shaggy and then put them together, and then let's look at their offspring, and then the shaggiest ones we'll put together, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, artificial selection. Human, in that case, humans are doing the selecting as opposed to nature. Okay, so you're going to choose an example of that that has some type of function for humanity. Okay, I mean, usually we do them for a reason. Okay, it could be dog breeding, could be breeding of crops for whatever reason. Okay. We've been doing this with pretty much everything that is of use to humans. Okay, the original corn plant had one kernel on it. Okay, it wasn't a very functional plant, and the kernel was like this big. It was a teeny tiny thing, and yes, wild corn was bred continuously until it turned into the behemoth that it is now. This giant thing full of kernels. Okay, so and pretty much all human crops are like that. So they all started off as something of being like, I can't even believe somebody decided to breed this thing. It's basically useless. Until all the way into like something that we use in a modern context. If you look at like what chickens used to be before they were bred, they were basically tiny little birds, and now they're monstrosities. They're absolutely ridiculous in size compared to what they used to be. So that's all through artificial selection. So again, you're gonna pick one of these. You're going to start by telling me what is the difference between artificial and natural selection. We've been discussing a little bit here, but like explain those selective pressures and what is the functional difference between the two of those. Okay, and then oh yeah, and spend some time talking about what is a selective pressure and how are they different between the two types. Talk a little bit about evolution. Okay, so this is an opportunity for you to reflect a little bit on the course and just tell me like, what is evolution? What have you learned about it? And like, what does it mean for something to evolve? Okay, because artificial selection also causes evolution to occur. So natural selection doesn't have to be the only mechanism. You can cause speciation to happen. Humans can do that. We can force speciation to occur. I don't think if you released a wild chicken back into the wild, or a bred chicken back into the wild, I don't think it's going to be breeding with any wild birds at this point, even its closest relative. So we've definitely speciated those chickens. They're a new species now. Okay. Then you're going to spend, in that section, you're going to spend a little bit of time talking about natural selection, a little bit of time talking about artificial selection. There's some points that I want you to address specifically there. Then you're going to tell me about your industry example that you've chosen, okay? So you pick an example of artificial selection. Why did we use it? So what was the original purpose? This is a little bit shady for some things because we're going to be working prehistory for some of these things. Dogs is a good example. Dogs have been around for like almost as long as human society has been around. So a really long time. It's definitely prehistory. So we have more guesses here in terms about the actual early mechanisms for dog selection than actual fact, because we're going prehistory. But there is information out there about that. So if you're going to pick dogs or something like that, discuss that. Okay, so why did we do it? What did we select for? So this, again, with dogs, we don't know the exact traits, but it's pretty good guesses here in terms of why humans selected for specific wolf traits, and like that would make them good domestic animals, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so again, there's lots of information on that out there. And then the process. So how do they actually do it? How do you do that process with your particular industry, whatever it happens to be? Corn, yeah, pick. Okay, there's like a million things. Pretty much anything that we've domesticated, we've done this. Then the last part here, tell me a little bit about the good things. Okay, so we've done that. What are some of the advantages to doing that? Did it give us a superior product? Is there more productivity from that thing, whatever it is? Is it money saving? Like what's the purpose? Like why did we do it? What's the advantage? And then usually for most of these, there is some disadvantage to doing that. At the very least, you're reducing genetic diversity in a population when you breed. So, I mean, I can think of lots of examples, but if you're discussing dogs, there are disadvantages to dog breeding. You can probably find out what these are fairly easily. It's the same thing is true for crops. If you create a monoculture, something that's very, very low genetic diversity, there is a downside to that. So what is that? What are some of the genetic disadvantages to doing that? Okay, and then that's it. Realistically, you could definitely get that done in Learning Block 2. Especially if you have a specific focus, you already know what you're going to talk about. And by the way, if you pick something like dogs or any domesticated crop, there is a plethora of information on those topics. Dogs especially. People are fascinated by how we've artificially selected dogs. And if you're interested in dogs, it'd be probably interesting for you to find that out. So anyway, that's available to you, but please only do this if you're actually done everything else, okay? I really don't want people coming down to the wire here and not having all their assignments done. I would like people to get this credit. I will feel terrible if people don't. So if you're stuck, okay, you have an assignment that you owe me and you're like, I don't know what to do for this, or I'm having difficulty finding information about this or whatever, please let me know, okay? I'm happy to help you find sources. I'm happy to help you get over whatever that hump is that's preventing you from finishing an assignment. Okay, is there something about the presentation that you need to alter because you're just not good with a certain thing? Let me know, please. Let me know. Let's discuss that. Whatever it is, I'd like to work around it and make sure that you're getting this credit at the end of the day. Okay, so that's that. Again, you need to include a research sheet, just like always. APA citations for each of your sources, and then with each APA citation in point form, you're just going to list what did you get from that source. You learned this, this, and this. When I say you learned this, this, and this, one thing I noticed when I was marking your presentations is that some people are just saying, I learned about this kind of thing from this source. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't mean like, tell me in general the kind of things that you learned. I meant tell me exactly what you learned. Like list the actual information that you gained from that source, okay? That's kind of the purpose of it. And then the same thing, I have this listing of tips for a good presentation. It's the same for each one. You know, you go in point form. You guys are not going to be necessarily reading your slides. I highly recommend, if you're going to do something like that, have a script, have it written in the speaker notes. It's a little bit cumbersome to record. I get that, because like, how do you put the speaker notes up and then also record your screen? If you have the speaker notes at the bottom and then just like your window on top with your slideshow, that's fine, guys. Like, no big deal. I can read. I have glasses. Like, I'll be able to see what's on your slides, even if it's smaller. All right. I'll maximize that window. So don't worry if you have your speaker notes on the screen. I'm not asking you to like write out a script by hand or anything. Does anybody have any questions about what's going on today? Okay, I'm going to try and get an email out to every student that owes me something right now. I intended to do it yesterday, but I didn't want to email people in the middle of the night. So I'm going to do that right now. But just be advised, if you owe me a bunch of stuff, work on that. Don't worry about the other stuff for today, but definitely get your vocabulary list and the quiz done. Okay, but don't worry about the project or anything else, about any of the other stuff that we're doing today. Okay, let me know if you need anything, guys. I'm here to help you. Let's get across the line. Really quickly, guys, sorry about the, sorry to jump back in here on you. I just want to really quickly mention for the end of the semester where you look for information. So if you, I'll post a mark update in there as well. If you go to the content page and you go right to the very bottom, there's like a little summative days one. It's gonna let me click on it. Come on. Ah, I'm so close. Click it. It really doesn't want me. Oh, let me get it. There we go. Okay, there. That's where you'll find the Meet. There's a link to the Google Meet right there. And again, I'll be there for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all day. So drop by if you need anything from me. There will be a course survey posted at the bottom here as well. It's really the only thing you have to do during those 3 days unless you owe me some assignments, okay? And it's just, it'll take you 5 minutes. That's the only thing I need from you. So just, I would like a little bit of feedbacks to improve the course for next quadmester. So, okay, thanks guys. And oh yeah, and if you need to return a textbook, you don't have it with you today or you're at home, I will be in this room. So just stop by the room Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, anytime. Technically, you're not supposed to be here, but we are collecting textbooks. So you can stop by the school, knock on the door. The door will be closed because I'll be in here with my mask off, but I'll throw my mask on, let you in, and then you can just drop your textbook off. All right. Hey guys, welcome back for block 2. If you just could let me know in the chat if you're here at home. In this block, you have a couple options open to you. You can write the quiz. You do need to write it today at some point, but you can just use that time to write the quiz if you like. It's open. You can work on the bonus assignment if you're done everything else. So you're welcome to complete that. If you don't want to work on the bonus assignment, that's also your choice. So you don't have to do it, but if you'd like to, you can use it to boost your mark. It can only benefit you. I think I already mentioned that. So your mark can't go down due to the bonus assignment. It's only bonus. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Right, if you owe me anything, please make sure you get that to me, okay? It'd be a good idea, probably at this point, to just hand in your vocabulary list for evolution. You should be done. You've done all the content. So if you want to just hit submit on that one, then you'll be good to go for that as well. All right, let me know if you need anything, guys, if I can help you with the assignment, if you're choosing to work on it, or if you're working on another assignment that you owe me and you're not sure about something, just let me know. Drop a message in the chat or send me an email.